Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the Sit Down with Juliana. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time and your suggestions, your questions. Keep sending them in.
Woman, a warrior is a woman. Woman, woman, a savior is a woman. Woman, woman, a warrior is a woman. Woman, woman, a savior is a woman.
My next guest, first of all, he has a whole wealth of knowledge on the entertainment business. You guys know him so well because he's been living in your living room for so many years. I've known him because I've worked closely with him because we're from the same industry, and I have a lot of respect for him. Please welcome Douglas Lwanga.
And then they put the effects. Me editor, situamba jazite kam editor
no.
2024. It's good.
How are you?
To see you. I'm well. I'm
You're looking so good. You're making me look so rusty and all that.
No.
But you look
things.
Lovely. How
Thank
are you?
I'm well. I'm alive. God
How have you
good.
been?
Good, I must say. Although life happens, but we stay walking.
Life happens. Yeah. Indeed it does. Yeah. And I'm just so grateful that you even made it.
I know.
Between me and you. Yeah. The emergency was something else. But life is life, right?
Yeah, you have to keep moving. When you're faced with one hurdle, don't sit and then start crying and saying, oh, but now change to say, oh, no, you keep moving. Yeah. You keep moving.
Would you say that this is what has helped you achieve everything you've achieved, the attitude of not letting, the difficult things make life difficult for you?
Yes, because you see, Juliana, you're not going to have everything good in your life. You're not going to have all your days of your life very happy, smiling. No, that's not how life works. Yeah, there are downs, there are ups. So you don't want to stay down. I read a lot of the Bible, so there's lots of verses that keep telling you to, up your faith, up your faith, up your faith.
I'm surprised you read the Bible.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm a church boy from Entebbe Miracle Center. Yeah. So I've kept that tradition, and I think it's the reason why it's important for children to be taught the ways of God.
Indeed.
At a very young age. Yeah. That tradition of your mom carrying you, to church every Sunday. Yeah. It could look light, but I think when you grow up, you can remember that, my mom used to take me to church. I think I need to take myself to church.
That's so true.
Even if you don't go to church, but at least you'll kneel down and pray.
I know.
Because there's something that your mom put in you at a young age.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It does play a big role even for me.
Yeah.
Because they just made it a part of us when we were growing up. Like every Sunday. Actually, that's where we used to go, St. Andrew's Church.
Here?
Yeah, because we grew up in this area. Yeah. So every Sunday, without fail, we knew that it was church time. And then after church time, we either went home or went to our uncle's home that's just up there.
Yeah.
But because I grew up like that, and my, siblings, God was a big deal.
Yes.
Still is.
Yes. And then you used to pray as a family.
Exactly.
Yeah. Before you eat food.
People don't pray. Before you sleep.
Yeah, people just eat food, without saying, "Dear Lord, we thank you for this meal." And they think that simple prayer there doesn't have meaning. There's somebody who's sleeping hungry.
Yeah.
So
what were your meal times like with your family? For me, I'll give you an example. We had to pray before eating, and then while you're on the table, make a mistake and try and pick up the salt.
Over somebody, yeah.
Then another thing, you don't leave the table, you first ask for permission.
Yes.
What was your meal times like?
I remember you had to sit in a circle, and this was always my grandma. Okay. And then she puts all the food down. There's no sitting on the chairs. So you sit down in a circle, and then wali toina kusimba this mokono like this. Like you had to sit, and balance yourself without putting. I don't know why they had a problem with this hand.
I wonder, could it be the positioning of your body as you're eating? Maybe digestion.
I don't know. But every time you used to do this, they used to do it like this, and then you'll definitely fall.
Huh?
Yeah. So you had to have a proper sitting posture while eating, and then there was something on that. I'm not gonna say dining table, but how she was serving the food. Like she would literally bring hot matoke, and then she'll use her hands and like a piece of banana leaves.
Yes.
What? With her hands.
I don't know how those women did it, because I see my mom doing the same thing. I'm like, Mommy, aren't you burning? She's like, no. You know, akola kwako kogambye namala okubegako n'ayisaka engalo mu cold water mu
but
kadish.
nga the toke is hot.
N'okuganyiga, like akozesa engalo ze.
Yeah, so mothers are special.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, mothers are special.
And there's something, I don't know, but for me it's like there's something about the mothers that came, you know, our mothers. That's the generation before us.
Yeah.
I don't know what we guys are going to be like. But those mothers were like super women, you know?
Yes,
the fact that they would have like 9 kids, 10 kids, 6 kids. Omukazi natuka mu 70s and they look just as good.
I know.
You know?
But I don't know about you, but recently I went to my mom's closet.
Yeah.
And she showed me her pay slip, her salary slip. And it had 200,000. That's what she was earning.
200,000.
So I'm like, hold up. 200K.
Like
we studied primary. We went to university. You bought this land. You built the house. How? I earn more money than you, but life is hard.
Okay, but 200,000 in what year?
I know.
Because that...
Okay, but it still wasn't a lot of money.
Because back then the land was also like what? Like 3 million? It's good land. It's prime.
Yeah.
But I see what you're trying to say. The fact that women are very good planners when it comes to money.
Exactly.
We really are.
Exactly.
Like
I look at that pay slip and I'm like, how do you do these things?
Yeah.
How do you do? There's a show that used to be on NTV. I think it was called Street Life or something. And they used to profile these women that sell kasoli, chapat and all that.
Yeah.
And in the interview, the lady would tell you, I've educated my children, I've built a house. And you're like, out of selling maize, kulugudo, you're doing these things.
Yeah.
How have you done that?
Yeah.
So anyway, women.
It's quite interesting. I think for us, first of all, we have that motherly instinct of like you think about everyone before they think about themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So whatever you're planning, and even when, you know, hubby gives you a zokameza, if it's like okay, like 200K per day.
Yeah.
For you decide no kosako 50.
Not all.
150 nozi tereka, you know? And many times that money is what, for some women, I was watching a lady actually, must have been a couple of days ago, and she was talking about how she unfortunately left her man. They had, you know, issues at home. But this was over time.
Yeah.
So what she did, she started planning for kameza money. Yes. Ng'omusajja amuwa ssente waka, ye ng'akozesaako 5. N'aguloba akawungo bachi, and she would keep the money. Paka omuwala bwe yaweza like a couple of millions.
Wow.
But what she said, era mwina okutya ennyo, because she had been frustrated for some time and she said, yali anobadda. The whole time she was planning. Thank you. So once she raised the amount that she needed, she literally just left and went and started a new life with that money. And the man couldn't believe omukazi gye yayise.
From the kameza money?
From kameza money. I'm not saying
let's remove kameza.
No, I'm not saying tembawa bad. Mbawa kameza, but treat them good.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question. How are you and Linda Lisa?
We are well. You
guys are such couple goals.
I know. No, we've hustled. We've really hustled. I look at our images when, you know, we first met until to date, and I'm like, yo, we've moved.
You've walked the distance. How many years now?
Since 2010.
Okay.
It's like about 14.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. Cindy said, Mbo, we should do like... What did she say? You Cindy. We should do like a marriage over bichi, over counseling, over for other people.
You and Linda Lisa?
But we have the formula for staying
seriously,
together.
I think you do.
No, we don't.
What's the secret?
It's because we have different personalities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that they say that always date someone who's the complete opposite of you. So if you're very loud, get someone quiet.
Exactly.
If you have a big ego, get someone who's...
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So for her, you know, you would easily No, for me, you can intimidate me and I'll be like, Juliana Kamuleke. For her, she'll be like, okay. So those are two different people. But it's beautiful, when they come together.
How do you guys meet?
So, Record TV. Remember when we were still...
How can I forget?
Hey, how
can I forget?
So you remember when we were at Kamocha side?
Yeah.
So I pick up a story in the red paper. And I think she had split with her boyfriend by then.
Okay.
And so I go on air and I narrate the story. Back in the day, gossip was got from red paper or red paper inachi, then you come on air. No, you need a cow soup. Juliana,
yeah.
So I go on air and then I, of course, say all these things about her. She was mad. So she comes with her friend called Nisha, Bridget. Okay. Nisha, I think, used to manage Roger and Slick Stewart, and then Jamal. I don't know if you know her. But so they come together to start a fight. Hey, you get that Douglas record together. So they come, and then, of course, I sit down and I tell them, this is a story I got here and here and here, but, I'm sorry if it offended you in any way, And she was calm, she was easy, and she's like, it's okay. And then...
This is funny.
We start to talk. And of course we became friends. I'm a very secretive person when I'm going through things.
Yeah.
And so I found her like a very safe person.
A good listener.
Yeah, good listener. Yeah. And so she listened to what I was going through. Us who are public figures, sometimes it's very difficult to share.
Oh man, talk about
life, especially when you're at the bottom. You have to keep smiling and all that. And you need just one friend that can sit down and just listen to you. Even if they're not going to give you...
Damn, I can relate.
Yeah. So that's how we meet. She listened to what I was going through, gave me advice here and there. Before you know it, we had actually connected more than... Yeah.
How ironic is that? How you start with an argument and what almost turned into a physical fight, and now she's the love of your life. Yes. And how has your journey been since?
It's been smooth, I must say. I think her family is one of those families that are not, certain families are very traditional.
Yeah.
And they want you to go by, but her dad and her Jaja, before she died, she clearly told me, you guys, I want you to build A, B, C, D. And once you're done with that, now you could put this into the proper channel.
Yes.
And for them, it's about, are you comfortable? Are you happy with each other? What do you want to do as you and her? And not about family influence. So it's a very beautiful family, by the way.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents should honestly pick a leaf.
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of like pushing someone into
to do something
just because you want them to do things by the book. First of all, people have different connections, different levels of growth as couples.
Yes.
And many times if you force someone to sort of legalize, if it's too early and they don't know each other that well, then you might end up going back to square one.
True.
How about you let them grow and get to know each other?
Yeah.
But have you also heard of people who actually spend like 10 years together and then the moment they get married, then they break up?
I'm not... Okay, marriage is a very sensitive...
It's very strange.
A sensitive subject. But in the counseling... In the marriage counseling, they tell you the first 1, 2, 3 years are the hardest. If you guys stick around for those past, then you'll stay together. But it's very difficult, and that's why lately the young couples, before you know it, we were celebrating the wedding and all that. 1 year down the road, they're no longer together.
Have gone south.
Yeah.
When you talked about that part where the church leaders used to tell you that the first couple of years are difficult, I was actually having a conversation with a previous guest who has also been in a long-term relationship, and I was telling her about this video clip I landed on TikTok, and this guy was talking about the different stages of relationships. And he was saying there's 3 different stages. So there's the first one where you're absolutely crazy about each other. You love
each
bombing each other. You text each other at 3 a.m. You talk from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And then when you move from that stage, you get to the stage where you now start having fights, okay? And when you start having fights, you get to learn all those annoying little things about your partner. And then you can't stand each other. And then you have a fight and you can go about 2 weeks without talking, or 1 week. Those things, right? And he was saying that after that, you now move to the third stage, which is like in your mind, you're telling yourself, if we could make it through this difficult stage and now we're here, we'll never break up. And so he was saying that the second stage is the most difficult. And if you've overcome that and come to stage 3, you can last forever.
I think the second stage is even the longest.
Oh my God, it lasts so long. Don't ask me how I know.
The first stage is very... I know. We've all gone through this. I think the first stage is the most brief.
Hey, man. The second stage, you will consider so many things.
And that's why people that get married, there is a lot of, they call that what? Adultery. Because there's somebody on the other end that start to make you feel things that this guy in the house is not making you feel. And then you think the other person actually, I think, is a much better option than this person. Kumbe, it's a cycle.
They're testing you.
Yeah. It's gonna be that first phase, second phase, third phase. So maturity is when you realize that even if I gave the other person a chance, that thing that's getting me butterflies, texting, each other, the communication, the beautiful thing is not gonna last.
Exactly.
So it's better, I just stick around. We build this together. Now that's maturity.
That's maturity, and many times if you let it be, there's a saying that says, let them. And it's like a poem I found online. But it talks about relationships, it talks about family, it talks about friends. And it says, if someone chooses to leave, let them. When you let them, what happens is they go out there and find out why you're special. And
what will I be doing? Seated waiting?
It depends on what this person means to you. So you can choose. You can give yourself, this is why boundaries are important, So you love this person so much, but you also set some boundaries. And you're like, okay, kamwemu time. Then I'll leave. But many times what happens is once someone steps out during that second stage, and they're like, you know what? That's when they'll go and find out all the little things that person has that make them nothing compared to you. And then suddenly they come back and appreciate you forever. Anyway, tuve mu byalaavu. Ebyo bimanyi okunsinga.
Bimanyi nnyo naye topic eyo tugyesonyiwa.
Tell me a bit about growing up.
So growing up, I was a very shy little boy. Very, very shy. In fact, I was so shy that, these dances they do in primary school where the kids are supposed, you're supposed to come one by one in front.
Hey, you'd freak out.
I even don't know how I entered music, but I was so shy. And I think the shyness came because I grew up among girls.
Okay.
So when a boy grows up among girls, they get some of the characters
from the girls.
Yeah, and also if the girls grow amongst boys,
they become tomboys.
Yeah. So that's the problem. So I was the only boy amongst 3 girls at home. And I used to just close myself in the bedroom, watch my cartoons, because I couldn't understand what the girls, they fight over combs, they fight over very little things, And for you as a young kid, you're like, so that's supposed to make you fight? But for the girls, the entire house is upside down because somebody moved the comb from that table to the other table. So that made me a bit reserved. So growing up, I wasn't so much of a social person. The time I attempted to be social, it was in my primary still. There was this gang or group of boys I was with. But of course, at school, you tend to pick up fights here and there. So I used to watch a lot of those action movies. So I thought that I was that strong. So reached school, and then this boy was coming from northern Uganda. I don't know what exactly I did, but those fights used to be on appointment. Until you're still at school and you're like, tugenda kwekuba nga isomero liwedde.
Why did we all do that stuff?
But boys do that.
I remember that stuff in primary.
You remember that stuff?
Yeah, guys used to do that. Even chicks.
Even chicks.
Yeah.
Tugenda kwekuba kusawa 10
after class and
after classes.
block
There's a place
7.
called Children's Park. As you go to State House, it's called Children's Park. And so we used to go there. So I go there, this kid beats me up.
Huh?
This kid beats me up. Tears my uniform, does every naughty thing. He was actually very strong. Now, that's also another thing that I was like, yo, Douglas, if you're Quran.
Can be very good.
And I mean, when I find two people fighting, missing. I don't want to get involved. So I was a very, 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 very reserved
laid back
and shy person. Yeah.
So then let's first stay there. So how many are you, your siblings?
We 4.
You're 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 girls.
And how are your parents? Are they both there?
So my mom is around, and my dad passed on when I was in P7.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I must say, one thing I've realized with you is while you're such a public figure, while you live in our living rooms every single day, while we think we know you, you realize we don't know you, eh?
At all.
You've kept your family life so private.
Yeah.
I don't know how you've done that.
Yeah. It's just principle. The world is very harsh.
Yes.
Very, very harsh.
Yes, indeed.
And and especially now with the social media.
Oh my God.
It's really, really harsh. And one thing for sure is you don't want to put your family out there to tap on the problems that you're also getting. I mean, the people that see us, I think everything is all good. But sometimes you go through things because somebody is thrown harsh words at you. And what if they're passing those to your mother, to your sisters, to your
children?
Yeah. It's bad. There's one particular day, I think Bebe Cool posted a picture of his family and the children and all that. And in the comments, they were abusing the children. And like that, for us that have children, it goes so deep, you're like, what if they're doing this to my child? So the last thing you want ever is to put your family out there. For me, even if I'm with my friends, Roger, Mercy Cats, we usually do those family trips, Nobody takes my children's pictures, and they know that. Even if they take those pictures, they can't post it. They can't post it. So I strike a line. Even when my sisters are celebrating their birthdays, you'll never see them on my social media. I don't tag them. And they know that. Because I want my life to be
just you. Because they didn't sign up for that. And then I protect them. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. While you care so much about your family and you want to protect them, I would want to know how they feel because they love you, right?
Yes, sure.
I'd want to know how the negative media coverage, when it happens, how does that affect them?
Let me start with my sisters. Yeah. My sisters, of course, because pretty much more or less the last born, they take care of you, If something happens, they'll reach out, yo, are you okay? I've seen this. And, big sister roles, so that comes off. But I think my mom, it took her some really, really good time to understand that sometimes you can wake up to a story, Juliana, that you have no idea about. And then you also start figuring things out. You're like, did I do this? There's a day I woke up on the internet and this young girl had posted that I had asked her for sex, that she wanted a job. That and she was very sure. And these things go to my mom.
Yeah.
And then she's like, what's happening? I'm like, I have no clue. The beauty about parents and moms is she'll be the very last person to accept that Juliana did this. she would fight for you to make sure, you're okay. So I took, of course, everything to CID, police, Chibuli, and they handled everything. And later on, we found out that she was interacting with a fake account. Lockdown, when we had that beef of NBS versus NTV, the shows that we're doing, people used to change their handle names. Twitter has two names. You can have it at Juliana,
and then
at JK, then at it's JK at Juliana Kanyomozi, and you can flip this JK. You can change that first,
Although I think, if I'm not mistaken, when I got the verification, I think I saw somewhere where they mentioned if you change your name,
yes,
you could now lose your blue.
That's for the verified.
Yeah,
but these other accounts of our everyday today people, you can just change that.
Keep changing.
And then you can interact with somebody and somebody thinks they're actually talking to Juliana.
So basically you think these people do that first before they come online and make up stuff?
Yeah. Of course, people ask money in people's names. People do a lot of things.
Have you noticed that trend has grown, though? The trend of malice, so to speak, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
Where people literally come online and make up stuff about public figures.
And then you have to go and defend yourself.
Defend a lie,
Yeah. These actually are not random people.
No.
Sometimes they're even friends.
Very close.
People within your circle. Yeah, for different reasons. Yeah, but I think I taught myself certain things. And you remember when we had just come on Katogo, there used to be those live call-ins. So before social media. And so I didn't understand. I used to think that when you're on air, everyone is gonna love you.
Didn't we all start out like that?
Yeah. I used to have that. I thought, the world is so beautiful.
Oh, we were so naive.
Yeah. I thought okay, bad things happen to bad people. So this one day, this girl calls on air and is like, Doug, Jebaleko. I'm like, Kale, with this jovial mood. Ngoli musiufu. Obujaketi obugulawo obufana nawe butyo. JK, I froze.
Yeah.
And this is live television.
That was your first time to experience.
Yes. And then when I went off air, I was like, that means there's a certain section that doesn't like probably what I'm doing.
And then you started to ask yourself, why?
Yes.
What could I have done to this person?
Exactly.
I'm telling you, for me, that was a learning curve as well, growing up in my career. In the beginning, I used to think you're going to be everyone's sweetheart. Until reality hit me one day that, oh no, someone's going to hate you and they will absolutely have no reason. I literally used to hear certain people who are notorious for not liking me back then. And they would ask them, Juliana,
because you're excelling?
Just
There is a song called Over One Time. It was trending on TikTok. Over just one time.
Just one time.
Just one time. There's no reason.
Yeah. We're going to go to TikTok, by the way. But before we go there, how then does this shy boy become our biggest TV
I also
star?
ask him. Because see, like I told you, the primary thing of dancing. And there's that kind of dance you used to do in your West, and you do like this. It used to be I think the best stroke of primary school in your car uniform. That I hated it. But then when I went to senior secondary, there is a gentleman who has actually come from Namasagali. He used to be called Eganda Paul. Now, Eganda Paul started a school in Entebbe, and he named it Mayor's College. And he brought the actual blueprint of Namasagali, fusing academics.
With dance
with
and
dance
drama
and creative arts.
and sports.
Yes. But for him, he was mainly into the dance bit. And so this school was tailor-made on that kind of, structure. And it was a very unique thing in Entebbe because one, out of the school, he created a group that you now used to go to Entebbe and do concerts, shows. So I started to become a celebrity within school. And then, of course, he had opportunities, for exchange programs. And, of course, we used to go to the UK, go to the US and perform and all that. So I started to love the arts from school. And then, of course, fast forward, St. Lawrence. Still, I create a dance group because I'd come from senior 4 in Entebbe
with the dance background.
With dance part, yeah. So when I went to senior 1, there is that initial thing where they want to get each one's talent in school. And so for me, I got a group of my friends, 7 of them, and we formed a dance group and we named it Explosives. And so we used to do all these performances, of course copying what Obsessions was doing, and that also made me famous, you know, in secondary. So all throughout, at least I've been a noticeable person, you know, throughout. So coming to TV, I already had that background.
So can you walk me through your first steps, how you get into television? That must have been Record, right? Record
yes,
TV.
Yes.
How do you get on TV?
So getting on TV is, of course I do mass communication. Okay. But for me, I did mass communication not because I really wanted to be a TV personality. I did it because a group of my friends were doing it as a course. So and I wanted a course where we don't dress ties.
That's why you...
I'm stupid. By the
it
kids.
It had nothing to
Juliana,
do with what you wanted to do.
Kids don't get career guidance.
I
want to have career guidance.
I know, and we need it, eh?
Yeah.
Honestly, we do.
Yeah. And my mom was, asked me, why do you want to do that course? I'm in a course in Unjinyo. I couldn't even explain it. But she's one person that has always believed in what
you want.
Because I was a very bright person. I've been always bright from school.
Good.
So anyway, fast forward, I finished campus and graduate, and then going to learning multimedia. But I was working in a company called MGS Videos, where we were doing documentaries, weddings. The guy was called Uncle Sam. So after like 1 year, 2 years, they opened Record TV and they wanted cameramen. So I go in there as a cameraman. So walking in there, the guy changes a few things on the camera, asks me to set it up. I set it up and it's like, yo, you have a job. So from cameraman, because I'd learned how to edit, to do graphics before I entered television. And this is also the reason why I started Papo Skills Clinic Foundation, because those skills, I didn't get them from the university. I learned them on job. So from cameraman to editor to producer, later on to a presenter. So for the presenter bit, I had learned all these things behind the camera. You know, for me, even if I'm not a TV personality, I can produce this show. I can tell you what to say, what not to say. I can operate the camera, I can mix the picture, I can edit it, I can do the graphics, I can do everything.
That's cool.
So when this gentleman came through as the new MD of Record TV in a staff meeting, he, of course, calls out for people to suggest ways, you know, in which the company could go forward.
Yeah.
And I stood up because I'd stayed there for 1 year plus. I knew exactly what was working, what was not working. So I told him point blank, this is not working, that is not working, this is not working, this is not working. And then he looks at me. And then after he's like, can I see you in my office after? So I'm like,
he saw something in you.
Then you'll get there, you know.
Yeah. Oh, you thought you were in trouble?
Yeah. For me, I thought he's in trouble. But when I went to his office, he had actually just spent like a week as the MD of Record TV because they kept on changing.
Yeah.
Record TV was Brazilian, yeah? And
I remember it had something to do with not being Ugandan.
No, it wasn't Ugandan.
Yeah.
And they used to switch like MDs from various markets, Angola, Portugal, and they would just bring them to different markets. So this guy had just come here for 1 month. And so he tells me, you're very, he used the word, he says, very eloquent, very charismatic. I think you could make a very good TV personality. Have you thought about it? I'm like, no. I don't want to be in front of the camera. They can shy me.
That is so funny.
Yeah. I told him, no.
Yeah.
No. The shy me was not allowing. It's like, okay, do this. I'm going to give you a chance. It was a Thursday or Friday, I think. It's like on Monday, you're going to do a live show at 7 p.m. You're going to name that show. No, the show is going to be called Record Family. It's going to be very simple. People will be calling in, sending greetings to their family members. That's it. For you just manage, the interaction.
Yeah.
I was like, do you really want me to do this? I have never been in front of the camera. But remember, I had done mass communication. But even doing mass communication, we weren't like taught with equipment. It was some theory. history, media law, what? A lot of theory. So I gave it a chance that Monday, did that show for 1 hour.
Were you nervous?
Yo. That weekend.
That
That weekend was the longest weekend
you've ever seen.
I was in the mirror talking to myself. I'm like, hi, my name is Douglas Lwanga. Hi, your presenter. And they weren't making sense. Wow. But the hardest bit actually was not the weekend. They were the first 3-4 minutes.
On air.
When they are counting you down. 5, 4, 3, 2. The heart is doing... And it's different with these pre-recorded shows. A live show, in my mind, I'm like, what is my mother thinking? What is my singer saying? What is that guy who's watching from Gulu thinking of me? Am I making sense? Am I dressed well? Am I appearing well? Because at that time, there was Straka was still on air. Katz was already, doing his thing. Tough B was on.
Was Kazora still on?
Of course.
Kazora was still on.
Like these big guys on television. And here I am, no experience on speaking.
Yeah.
But I'm also a TV personality.
Yeah.
So those things in my head, they started to distract me. So I started to stammer in the first minutes until I because of my background, like what I told you that I grew up with girls, in my head, sometimes we can make a meeting in my head. I can sit and just talk to myself in my head. Doug, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah.
So I told myself, you know what? Don't worry about the other people at the other end. Just worry about this one cameraman
and the camera in front of you.
And the camera in front of me.
Yeah.
That was the theory that helped me gain my confidence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Look at you now.
I know.
Huh?
God has been
one
awesome.
One of the most celebrated TV personalities.
God has been awesome.
What I like is how consistent you've been with your job. I mean, you've changed TV stations.
Yes.
But Douglas has remained Douglas.
Yeah.
Your style, your delivery,
yeah.
Even what it is that you present,
Yeah.
You've stayed this. Was that intentional? That, okay, I may change TV stations, but I still want to be known as Douglas, who plays Ugandan music, talks Ugandan music, analyzes the industry.
Yeah.
Was that deliberate?
Now,
or was it by luck that...
This takes me back to where we started from, that whatever a child gets when they are children, as they grow up, some of those things stick with them.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that stuck with me was church. So you may ask, how does church play into
your TV job?
In the TV job.
Yeah.
So the TV job, there's a lot of malice for likes by hosts and presenters. But because you have that bit of a church background, you understand that you have to be fair. You understand that you don't judge people.
Yeah.
So some of those characters play out even when you're doing other things that are not even related to church. When there's a scandal, you're not supposed to come in as a host and say, hey, Juliana, kusali domsango. No.
You always want to hear both.
You want to hear both sides. And then because you're on television as a mediator, your work is to present both cases, the audience will judge.
I must give you credit. And this is one of the things for me in your character that I've always appreciated with you, which is why I may not do that many interviews, but when Douglas calls, I'm there.
I know.
It's something about how, it's so easy to trust you.
Yes.
And you're very kind, and you're very mindful.
Yeah. When
you're talking, even though I'm not in the studio being interviewed, but if you're discussing a story about me, about any celebrity, not just me.
I'll look out.
I like that you keep it fair. Yes. Like you want to listen to every angle and then give an informed opinion.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I've had other people criticize you for that, saying,
we are
better kufensa. That's what I've had Jenkins so many times saying, but honestly, for me, I think that's a plus. I think that is what sets you apart from many people. You
and we all can't be that.
Yeah.
You know, there are certain people that are supposed to criticize.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain people that are supposed to present two opinions so that the world out there. So for me, I chose that.
And you know, it's even okay to criticize, but how you do it.
Yeah.
And if you're criticizing with facts, because we guys are not perfect.
Yes.
We mess up all the time.
Yes.
But if you're going to make share an opinion on what I did, let it be an informed opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know why, again, you shouldn't go so much into that side is because all of us as human beings, we fault.
We mess
Even
up.
the presenter that is on air criticizing, if you go back into what they're doing in their real life, you know, you find they're not perfect.
It's not perfect.
So you who is not perfect, why are you putting somebody else on a weighing scale?
I know.
So it doesn't make sense. So just present the two opinions.
Yeah.
Juliana Yakubie, Douglas.
Yeah.
Douglas, what are you saying? Juliana, what are you saying? Then the audience will be like, oh, Juliana, since they are get there. Arabika, because the audience is not stupid. It's wise.
They can
judge.
see through.
Yeah, they can see through.
And they know the truth.
Yeah, just so always at you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to? Because I mean, how long have you been on TV?
14.
Do you feel like you might want to retire soon, or do you feel like you still have the gusto to keep going?
I would love to use the word evolve.
Evolve. Okay.
Yeah. So let's use the word evolve.
Yeah.
And so how does evolve start? So evolve doesn't start when you stop being on TV. While you're on TV, you should be evolving.
And I've been seeing that. And we're going to go there. I've been seeing that.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing. You are quietly and yet deliberately morphing into something else.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And you're coming away from the Douglas that we've always known alone, and showing us that, hey, there's so many other things I'm doing on the side. I can be a serious businessman. I love how you have been committed to the brand Papo Party. Let's first start there, because I remember where Papo Party started.
I know.
It was like a small thing until you got to a level where you were doing country tours.
You remember our first katua in Fort Portal?
Yes.
Kasound in the Katuta
Kasound neka stage. Stage.
No, Kanyomozi abantu abali kuchadeno. Like you guys don't know. So in my TV presentation, you know, Juliana has always been my friend, so I hook her up for this gig. I was like, Juliana, you know what? We're going to your home area. I want to go with you. And of course, Juliana, in her kindness, she's like, I'll do anything for you. Let's go. So remember, I was also just starting this events business.
Yeah, you're just learning.
This guy tells me, Nina sound, ya malayo.
Yeah. Charlie Chika.
But surprisingly, Juliana stood on that stage. She sang for her people. Everyone was happy. It even rained.
It rained. When you get to that point, it stops becoming about you and the promoter.
Yeah.
It's now between you and your fans. People. They don't know what's happening.
I remember your mom was in the audience, sitting at the front.
And she was so cold.
Katingo mugamba Juliana Kanyomozi.
I was thinking, how?
She was
there with my sister, because both sisters, they live in Fort Portal. They were there. My uncles were there. Some of my uncles left before I got on stage. But man, you have really invested in the Papo Party. And then before we knew it, I've been seeing Papo Skills. Tell me about Papo Skills.
So Papo Skills is a product of the Papo Party. Okay, let's call that. Somebody actually told me, let's just call it the Papo Group of companies.
Yeah.
So Papo Party, you know, is the event arm.
Yeah.
You know, parties, tours in Uganda, and now tours abroad, UK, US, wherever. But let me again take you back. I'm going to take you back a lot to church.
Go ahead.
So when you're raised in church, you know, everything that we have, Juliana, is not for ourselves.
Yeah.
You're not famous for yourself. You're not Juliana because of yourself. There is a reason, there is a purpose why you have that and not somebody else. And it takes, I don't know if it's a sense or the spirit or whatever, for you to sit in your room and ask God, why am I Juliana? Why am I Douglas?
Wow.
Why am I famous? Why am I loved?
Why have you given me this platform? What do you want me to do with it?
Exactly. But sometimes, we get all this fame, we get up there, and we forget to ask that question. So for me, amidst all the successes of the Papo Party, the crowds, the big venues we sell out lately, something started to bother me. Why are you Douglas? Is it for you to just bring people, they party, they take their alcohol, they go and sleep? No. So I started to get burdened by that question, and it happened during lockdown. And I've always had, whenever I have ideas, I put them on email, because again, I do graphics. I can have this idea of, let's say, company, and then I'll do logos.
That's really cool. I like that you have all those skills, man. I wish I was like you.
Yeah. So I had that idea of the skills because of what I missed at the university. Remember what I told you, that I should have learned how to present, to operate these things at the university, but I didn't. So I knew that there was a big problem of skills at campus. And so during lockdown, there were a lot of people that were, reaching out. Hey, Doug, they're chasing me out of the house. I lost my job. A lot of stories. And I know your DM was also full of those kind of comments, during lockdown. And I am not the government, Juliana, to kind of support each and every person. I also earn a salary. I hustle and all that. So I was like, wait, if I walk up and I give these people soap, sugar, that's going to help them for just one day. The interventions that we were doing in lockdown of, that couldn't feed people for an entire month. So what else could I give people
that can
empower them
to now go and earn?
Exactly. And I remembered that skill, but I didn't act. When I remembered, I didn't act. There's a guy called Peter. He owns a bar called Racers Bar in Bukoto. So he comes and tells me, "Oh, Doug, I want you to, I want to work with you, host like nights in the bar." And I tell him, "No, I don't do bars. I don't like the bar." And he says, "No, I feel there's a way we can work together." And I'm like, wait a minute. So I already had my concept on email, because I'd already done graphics for it and all that. So I just forwarded the email. We were even doing those night shows, the catch up, the ones that we used to do in the night. And he was actually in the audience. And he's like, "Email njifunye cancel memo." So he steps out with his kabia to read through. So while in my break, he calls me. He's like, "Doug, Sokoji." It's like, "Have you registered this thing?" I'm like, "No, I just have this idea. I want to do it." It's like, "You know what? Quarter cent. Tomorrow, call this guy at URSB. Make sure it's registered. Also register it as an NGO. That was the first push.
Wow.
He got money. He paid for me to register it. Second thing, after the registration, he calls me up, nalimala after 5, he tells me, "Oliwa," I'm like, "And after NBS." It's like, "No, kida wane bukoto. I want to show you something." Ngafunye H4.
What?
H4, it needed transformation, of course, because it was used by an old woman. It was in bad shape. Nagama funye H4, actually tomorrow we are bringing sand.
You were so lucky to find someone who really got in with you right at the beginning.
That's why I feel sometimes it's God.
It's God. Thank you.
It's God. And because I had those questions in my mind, but I was afraid to start. So God had to bring that one person, Peter Chisache, to be like,
wow.
So that's how we begin.
That's how it starts. And what exactly do you do? I know
there are 4 things. One is skills development.
Yes.
It's like an academy, training skills both in digital and in the creative arts. So the creative arts has always been looked at as one of those areas that doesn't have a lot of potential or is not prestigious to employ young people.
Yeah.
But Juliana, if you see how many young people are employed in the creatives right now, it's a big, big number. Actually, they say, I think it's statistics by Uganda Performance Rights Society, UPRS. They say by 2040, over 500,000 jobs will be created in the creative arts. Creative arts has people that are doing multimedia, that's photography, videography, animation. It has cosmetology, the guys that do makeup for you. It has those people that are doing the crafts, art itself, the singing, the dancing, the audio production. It's wide. It's very wide. So we are offering skills training. If you want to learn how to be a DJ, as simple as that, it's not a course that you're going to find at Makerere University. Exactly. So we are in the gap trying to address that. Of course, creative arts and digital skills. So skills development is one place. The second is mentorship. Our mentorship is we'll find the industrial experts. If you want to be a TV personality, I would look for Kanari Mukume to come and directly mentor you, because sometimes you may not even get to see these people face to face throughout your, years of study. So mentorship, the workshops, we do those a lot. The third is job shadow programs. We look for places, for example, if you want to learn event management, we will look for an event producer, probably Fenon, ATS, Swangs, and we'll be like, you know what, can you onboard 2 of our students to learn on the job for like a month or 2, so that they can get those, job-ready skills. And then the last one, we help to connect them to finance. The opportunities out there where young people can borrow money at very low rates, but we have to start from. So we'll act as a mediator to make sure at least whatever they have studied, if you've learned how to be a DJ, if you need a loan to buy your first DJ machines, we'll link you to probably Pride, Microfinance, or probably Finance Trust. Grab a loan, pay slowly, we get no call.
So good.
So it's more about looking for, it's job creation.
Yes.
That's it.
You are definitely adding value to these young people. So for someone who's watching you right now, a young girl who's afraid to even come and approach the Douglas Lwanga, but they want to come and study, how do they get to the place? Is there like a number they can call? Can they just walk in? What does it take to qualify?
So we have 2 categories of people. We have what we call a scholarship program. Purely, they come for free. And then, of course, we have the ones that they pay for. So for the one that they pay for, you can actually just walk in. You can look on our socials. Our contacts are there. Our website is up there. I look for Skills Clinic. Skills is SKILL. Clinic is with a KLINIC. Yes, so just look for Skills Clinic on Twitter, on Instagram, or you can DM me personally. I'll respond.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
that's a great thing you're doing.
Thank you.
Well, this conversation was really mainly about you, your personality, and we love you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
But I can't let you go without briefly talking about the industry. Now, can I?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the current state of the music industry? I'll put you on the spot.
I know.
But I cannot let you go without hearing from you.
Yeah, it's gonna be very honest.
Yeah.
And I think I was talking to Jasmine 2 days ago about this. This industry has 2 groups of people. It has the super talented people, the Julianas, the Lydia Jasmines, the songbirds. Yeah. And then it has the hustlers. So I think it has helped the hustlers. But also in the hustlers, there are those hustlers that are a bit privileged, those that are not privileged. I'll give you an example. There is a boy called Dista that is now trending. Oh, Zambe.
I was about to ask you about him because I saw what he said about you. But we're going to get there. First tell me.
So, in the previous traditional media, Juliana, Ozambe wouldn't
even get a chance.
How?
Yeah.
So it will be very, very difficult. So for me, because I'm into now the NGO side, you know, I love to see the marginalized get a chance.
Exactly.
So I think that kind of new media has balanced that stage. The stage was not previously balanced. Now it's balanced. But on the flip side, the people that are very talented, I think have also sat back and they're not doing so much to counter the hustlers. So the hustlers are rolling.
Guilty as charged.
The hustlers are rolling.
Yeah.
And it goes back to one of the artists, what they said, that when you sing nice, when your song has good meaning, it's not welcomed. As such, abantu bagala ebyononese unserious thing, wemula mukatini, and that's what is picking people's attention. But for me, I say, let it pick attention, let the hustlers rule, but let these guys also do their thing and stand on ground and stamp their social media presence.
Yeah.
I think that way it will be balanced. But the new media is here, TikTok has taken over, there's not so much that we're going to do about it.
Just before I ask you about TikTok, I feel that it's only fair that even those hustlers in quotes are given a chance. First of all, we need to understand that this generation is different. Their vibe is different. It's not going to be like us, okay? Yeah. So the stuff they're vibing to, we're not going to get it, okay? Yeah. Sometimes I get on TikTok and some of those challenges, I'm like, if I try, because I'm going to look stupid. But that's just because I can't relate. The generation is different from us. And so first of all, we need to give them a chance to shine. Yes. The world has become much smaller because of social media, so they get these opportunities faster than we did, because the guy comes out today and by tomorrow he's trending number one in the country. And I think that's a privilege that they should use. But I also think that there's an audience for everyone. There are people who may not understand the hustler's vibe. Yes. And they just want to come to Serena and listen to real music. Not that theirs is not real, but to listen to our kind of music. Yes. And then you'll find the guys who are vibing to Hozambe. I've always believed that, the cake is big enough for everyone. True. That's why I'm never threatened by trends or what. So it's like if you travel the world, you'll find art musicians that people don't even know. Like there's a guy called Yanni. Do you know Yanni? Good. Now this guy. Yes. Yes. You probably even go like, Yanni. But that guy sells out when he has a tour. Yeah. So I'm just giving an example of the fact that every artist has an audience here. So true. So that's how I feel anyway.
No, that's true.
But tell me about that boy. I saw a very touching video where he was talking about you. Yes. How you supported him and encouraged him. Yeah. Tell us.
I actually couldn't remember.
You didn't remember him?
No, I couldn't remember. Okay. I call that just random acts of kindness. And this is how I learned how this works. Fake for Maker, when he had just like popped up. Yeah. I had a producer. He's a friend of... He's your friend also. Ray. NTV.
Yeah, Raymond.
Yes. Yeah. So, I got to Raymond. I tell him, there is this boy. Kaina Olimba, balita pisto. Bakaita fiki. Arangamba. Kana chako. Raymond, Yali simwangu.
Yali very...
Yali particular. Yeah, very. Oh my God. Raymond, newo jango dugala, nengo inakaimba akalunyi. Ataja ku audience. So, shout out to you, Raymond. Yeah. But anyway, so, after some time, the kasong was still new, After some time, the kasong hits. Titwakazanya.
Okay.
The kasong hits. Nzane mga, neno kali akana. Kaliko kati.
Mbwa kali wandoza ngataka jukira.
Takajukira. So that little bit of context just taught me when we are dealing or interacting with creative minds. Yes. Oba yamba dacha, oba dugala, oba unya.
Thank you.
Munange, you do not know what that person is gonna be. You do not know.
Exactly.
If that person meets you and wants to have a chat with you, if you can spend a minute,
just hear them,
just sit or stand, listen to whatever, could be nonsense, could be some sense, we won't listen. And then wabasabye kubuyambi nga you're in capacity. I'm using the word you are in capacity
to help.
I remember that day because we were working from the field. I didn't even have a lot of money. I remember I had 40K. That day I had 40K. Netukola show, but there was a group of ghetto youths that escorted us to our car. I don't remember who exactly. And so this one particular one is like, bro, I need to watch your man. But the way he said it was very honest.
Yeah.
Nengambo mani. Wada mafuta tegali clear. Because I was supposed to come back to the station. Let me just give him this.
That was very selfless.
Yes.
Knowing it was for fuel.
Yes. So for me to see, actually, I saw the video clip on TikTok. But you know how TikTok is. The guy had put there, this tacha koze Douglas Lwanga. So I was like, of course, to attract attention. So I never actually opened such things. Yeah.
Exactly.
I just slid. And then in my DM, Alan Cruz texts me and he's like, there is this young boy that you helped.
Can't remember how you were going to miss it.
And then I was like, oh, is that the boy I've seen on TikTok? He's like, yeah, that's the boy. But I swear, because I thought I'm Vumi.
Yeah.
Nangamba, no, he's actually appreciating you.
Have you seen him since?
No.
Let's talk about TikTok. It's a new trend. It's, it's here, okay?
Yes.
And we have to embrace it.
Yes.
Personally, I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
I'm literally obsessed with it. But when it comes to the industry, the music and all that, it's interesting that right now there's a debate and people are saying that what mainstream media used to do for the music, like literally get your song and make it a hit song, TikTok is doing that.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But we need to understand that media doesn't work in isolation. Media works interactively. Radio gives support, TV gives support, online gives support. So the danger is for young artists to think that social media or TikTok can work in isolation. It cannot. It has worked in isolation for a few exceptional people, but it can't work in isolation for everybody. There's people that have tried to even advertise concerts only on TikTok, using TikTok as a media, and the shows are flopped because they didn't have support of traditional
mainstream media.
So what does traditional media do right now? Traditional media confirms, because if you talk of believability, if you hear something on TikTok, you hear something on the newspaper, on radio, TV, or the newspapers, the first place where people are going to believe
and put a stamp on it,
put a stamp, is actually print.
Yes.
The Rupapula.
CTV.
TV is second.
Really?
I think. Yeah. Hey. Olupapula. Where you go in the government offices, those people still read newspapers.
I did not know that.
They
because
still read newspapers.
I've not physically held a newspaper in like 5 years.
It's you. It's you.
Wow.
But those people in government still read newspapers.
And that is how they know that this is legit?
Yes.
Let me listen.
Yes. And if you find a lie in the newspaper, it's really, really absurd. Yeah. But then the second platform is television, because it has a picture and then it has sound. But again, because we went into this era of gossip shows and certain news cannot be verified. Now the people look for personalities on those platforms.
Oh, okay.
So it's not that the TV
so on NBS, they look for Douglas. What is he saying about this concert?
If it's entertainment,
really
they will say, what has Douglas said?
Okay.
If it's current affairs, they will go on Kanari Mugume's Twitter.
Yeah.
What has he tweet? Or Samson Kasumba, whichever person. And so they will look for those credible people, nakaziwe. So when you say or speak something, they know this person cannot just say things because of likes. So that's the level we are at. But yes, TikTok is good, it's beautiful, it's a strong platform, but it can't work in isolation.
Can't work alone.
Yes.
Can't. Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to read a tweet.
Yes.
Which is kind of related to the topic, but I found it interesting. I saw it yesterday by Salvador.
Yeah.
You probably saw it, but I'll just read it.
Yeah.
TikTok is the biggest destroyer of talent, especially upcoming musicians. Guys can jump onto your song, however mediocre it is, make it very popular with challenges, dump it and jump onto the next one. Now, when it gets to mainstream media, people start to notice the mediocrity, and before you know it, you are back to square one. So if you are to go the TikTok way, especially you upcoming artists, make sure you mint from that song when it's popular.
Yeah.
Make as much money from it as possible, because once people move on, you come back, your comeback song should be even more hatari, which is usually unlikely, but possible.
Facts.
So I think TikTok is a quick,
it
can make you a star so quickly.
Yes.
But then those people can wake up tomorrow and move on to somebody else.
That's so true.
So use that opportunity.
Yes. I'll go by the words of Chameleon. I don't remember when he said this. No, we were at the Papo Party in Lira long ago, I think 2016.
Yeah.
He did say something. He said, music, I don't know who he was referring to, but I think this hyping of new artists, Tigumbiaze, Ozambe, Alikone, Tumujubisa. So he was like, music is like that relay where you all start on that starting, athletes when they are running. Yeah?
Yes.
Until we all start on this starting point. Nembu yabalindira eri because ye yatuukadde eri ku end finish. Waliwo osalira nti otuse
finishing line.
N'agamba ye ali ku finishing line.
Alinze abajja ne batuuka.
Agamba abasinga batandika wano naye tebasobola kutuuka wali eri waali ku finishing line.
That is true.
And that's what his description of this entire situation is all about, which I find is the best answer, again, relating to what Salvador is saying.
Yeah.
Tukujubisa wano, 1 week, 2 weeks.
And I think it still plays into your response on when you said that TikTok cannot work alone. Because they're going to make you the star today and tomorrow they're going to jump onto someone else. Yes. But if you now have the help from TV and radio, then you keep going. Yes. Right?
Yes.
So, Douglas, as we wind up, I just want to ask you one more question.
Yes.
And that is depression in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
And it's not just in music, it's everywhere. Have you noticed that people are depressed?
Oh, that's what I was talking to Bill before we came through. You find people and they expect Juliana to smile. Us who on TV, you have to get there, smile, and say all these things.
Yeah.
I was telling him, my mom has had a stroke since last year.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And in the initial time of that stroke, I got so depressed.
Yeah.
So depressed. Now I'm the kind of person that listens to a lot of people's problems. I want to try and solve what I can solve. Like, I'm a very good listener. In my DM, people asking for advice, people are looking for help. But when I went through that time, I didn't find any actual people I could share. Aside from, of course, Lisa, who knew what I was going through, and my sisters, there was no other people. And it's so sad that even in that particular period of time, there was one of my closest friend that was also going through his own situation. And he faulted me for not being there for him. And it just showed me how
everyone is dealing with something.
And
we don't know.
You do not know. So for you, just see me dressed, looking good, smiling, driving my car, and you think all is well.
Yeah.
But I'm also dealing with things.
Yeah.
So the best thing is for us to be just kind to each other. As simple as that. The artists that we see, that we love, aside from their music, they are going through things.
A lot.
Some have not paid their rent, but because he's an artist, that's why Gamampola yo sending his appreciation. We were on air, and he was telling me during lockdown, he reached out for help in terms of money, and I extended. I can't remember that bit, but he was narrating that he was going through things. Very few Juliana would throw their ego on the side, walk to you and tell you, Juliana, wala impaye chiziki nga muyimbi. One day, I'm not going to mention the name, one artist, he's an R&B artist, walked from Machinde to where NBS was here at Kamocha before we moved to Naguru.
Yeah.
He walked on foot. For me, he just texted me, he's like, Doug, I want to meet you. So I thought probably he has a song.
Yeah.
So after the show, he's like, man, sagala kwa jeye waguru tumitinga wano kwa Kasia. I'm like, yeah, NBS eri wano ku same area. Why can't you just
come up?
So I walk to Acacia, musanga wa parking emotoka nga kafufa kali ku ngato. Nangamba blood. Sina kyakulya. Enyumba bangoba simanje ngenda kudda. This is like top R&B artist. And right now I see him on the internet. Touch Aveda one. I see him and I just smile, I feel proud. And for that person to take that bold move, natambuze bigere, naja na sharing now with their story.
Yeah. It must have taken a lot of courage.
Yes. But again, how many are those that stick around with their problems?
I'm telling you.
So it's one very bad of us to think only about ourselves. Golowooza ekizibu ekyo kirina okubeera prioritized by Juliana. Waba takiprioritizing, then that means Juliana mubi n'omukyawa.
Nenga tumanyi Juliana naye ayina ebimusuza nga atunula.
Okitegeera. Waliwo guy yali antunza router ya Airtel recently. Nangamba, Doug, router ya mitwalo 12. Nemugamba, okay, kale fine, njazisasula ku Friday. Antunulira bw'atanga, lwaki tozisasula kati?
The impression that you must have cash on you all the time.
You understand?
That's so wrong.
So what we forget is even the wealthiest people
they
live
have
on
problems.
credit. They live on credit. They have issues.
Yeah.
So let's just try and understand that the entire world, dealing with.
Exactly.
Let's just be kind.
Yeah.
That's the basic.
It's the best advice you could say. Let's just be kind. And may that also go to the social media bullies and trolls, because you're going to troll someone and you don't know that they're already carrying something really heavy.
True.
And then you're going to push them to doing something that you might regret later.
True.
You know? But also, just to add on to what you've said, I think it comes down to also, there's a part where you said someone needed your help, but you were also going through something.
Yes.
And you had no idea who to talk to.
Yes.
It's funny because people like us, you know, people who are maybe in the public eye, but also generally people who are maybe even the providers at home, the ones that are maybe most successful in the family, the ones who take care of everyone. Many times, when you're dealing with your own stuff, you will find that you have no one to talk to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You look around and who do I tell? And there's no one.
No one.
There's no one. So why I'm bringing that up, I think it's important moving forward for all of us to find ways to personally fill our cup and lift ourselves up.
Without
waiting. You need to help yourself first, and you can do it. You know, for
but
me,
it's difficult.
It's difficult, but I did that. You know, for a while, I had to teach myself to anchor myself, to strengthen myself, because there are things sometimes I would be going through, and I swear to God, I had no one to talk to. You know, people were all going through stuff, especially after lockdown. Everyone was dealing with stuff. Your problems. You understand?
So tonyegira muntu abagambe man onsanze bubi, I'm not okay, or I can't help you at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, but also you who they have reached out to, you know, if somebody reaches out, even if you're not gonna help, help is not monetary. Help is saving a minute. And just listening to somebody.
There was something I heard Bill saying before we said filming.
Yes.
And he was like, if you're greeting someone and you say, hey, how are you? And they just say fine, because they're so used to saying hi, so used to saying fine.
Yes.
Like, ask them again, really, how are you?
Yeah. With an intention to know.
Yes.
I'm fine, okay.
And when you insist, honestly, I'm not, you know? So, but whatever it is, life
just
is
keep
not
walking.
easy.
Keep
whiskey. Thank you, Douglas, for coming.
Thank you so much.
Before we wind up,
you
know what I always do at the end?
No.
I have 5 names.
Okay.
Of people in your life, people who've crossed your path, people you probably worked with, that mean something to you. So I'm going to mention a name.
Okay.
And you tell me what comes to mind about them, what they mean to you.
Yeah, sure.
Linda Lisa. Obviously.
That's like...
and obvious.
My best friend, my wife. She will do anything to make sure I'm okay. She will sacrifice anything to make sure I am fine.
Yeah.
I love her.
Great. MC Katz.
Oh, that's brother. Like I told you, I grew up among girls.
Yeah.
So whenever I connect with a friend who is a male, I find him like a brother. So that's like my brother.
I've really seen that from afar.
Yeah.
You are always with him. You guys are like brothers. And I really love how you've been such a strong support to him. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Bebe Cool.
Bebe, that's like I lost my dad in P7.
Yeah.
So I take him more like a father figure. Yeah. That days he can call you and I'm, Tokute. Like the way your dad was.
Yeah.
So I take him like a father figure, in my life. He's been there directing my career, just looking out for me and opportunities. So I appreciate him for that, I've always appreciated him for that.
Who looks out for everyone?
Really?
I'm telling you, I think everyone I've been hosting,
Really?
even myself, we all have that personal experience from Moses.
Yeah.
Where he's been so kind and selfless and literally held your hand.
And it's sad that some people don't see that.
I think we need to celebrate this guy. Seriously, we need to celebrate you, baby. Cool. Wajid.
Oh, Wajid. That's another brother. We grew up together from Record TV. He was in the control room. I was the presenter. We were understaffed. So everything, literally, the ideas, it was him.
Yeah.
Yes, so Wajid is like...
Bruh.
Even if we take long to speak to each other, I would still look out for him, make sure he's okay and all that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's...
Well, Douglas, thank you so much for coming. And we love you. We've always loved you.
Thank you.
And wish you nothing but the best in all you're doing. And thank you for making the time, given the circumstances. It means the world to me. Thank you.
I know. Thank you, Juliana, for hosting me. I had a great time.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Bye.
She always finds a way. The mystery of a woman, a savior in a time of need. The bravery of a woman.